Time is 7 p.m. on April the 5th. I'd like to call the General Committee meeting to order. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, may I have a motion to approve the agenda? I don't believe there are any additions tonight, Mr. Clerk.
May I? Through you, Councillor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair. We are treating this as having additional items simply because, as you know, the original agenda was circulated last Tuesday, and we did provide additional items on Friday. So we would treat it as with additional items.
Okay. Thank you very much. A motion to move the agenda with the additional items. Councillor Maracas. Thank you. Councillor Tom. Thank you. May I have a vote on that? Thank you.
Carries.
That carries. Okay, I don't need anything else there. Determination of items requiring separate discussion. I'll start on my left. Councillor Perry?
None for me this evening.
Thank you. Councillor Kim?
No, I'm good.
Thank you. Councillor Tom?
None for me, thank you.
Councillor Abel?
I'm fine, thank you.
Councillor Thompson?
Item 3, please.
Figures.
So close.
Mayor Daw? Mayor Daw, do you have anything you'd like?
Apologies. I'm good, thank you.
Councillor Maracas?
I'm good too, thank you.
Oh, you are all going to hate me. I apologize. Okay. Councillor Humphreys, are you waving at me?
Welcome back to Vegas, ma'am.
Oh, thank you. Yes, and I have pulled item 1, item 6, 7, and 9. Are there, okay, so we don't really, I think, have to confirm at this point. Adoption of items not requiring separate discussion. May I have a motion for that? Councillor Humphreys, thank you. Councillor Peary, thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? That carries. No delegations this evening. And are there any presentations by the advisory chairs? No, thank you. We'll go on to consideration of items requiring separate discussion. I don't think there's any. Is there anyone in the audience who is here for anything in particular? No, then we'll just start at number 1 then. I'll move that as it. Oh, sorry, I can't. Thank you, Councillor Humphreys. Councillor Tom. Does anybody want to speak to that? Thank you. Hold on, what was my question? I guess through you to Ms. Van Leeuwen, the only question I had on this is on page 3. It's the last paragraph before the N6 comment. So staff is going to carry out this program and evaluate the results to determine if there are a concerning number of systems that are malfunctioning. So what would that be a percentage?
To you, Ms. Chair. Well, I think once we see what the results provide, I think we'll make a determination at that point. I would say anything over a handful that are failing would be concerning to me. I can tell you we have a septic inspector on staff who's been here for a number of years, and in 25 years there's only been 2 unsafe situations, so we're not expecting a great deal of malfunctioning systems, because typically we would know if they were malfunctioning. People would be calling us asking for some questions or asking us to attend the site and make comments.
Thank you very much. And we heard last week that it's particularly concerning because we're on the headwaters and we're on the moraine. So thank you. there are no other comments, all those in favor? Opposed? That carries. Number 3, I believe that's Councillor Thompson's.
I'll move the motion as is for now.
Second, Councillor Pirie, thank you.
I guess through you to Mr. Simonovskis. Mr. Simonovskis, just a couple things with regards to this. I guess first, you know, I've brought it up in the past. Where are we with the solar panel installation at the SARC?
Through you, Madam Chair, I believe that the project is ready to be installed this spring. I'm not sure exactly where the vendor is. We don't, and if Mr. Marco has any comments, I don't believe we're directly in control of the timing of that project because of the agreement, but as far as I understand, the facility is ready to proceed for them to install this spring.
Because I think if I may just provide a little clarification. Last time I heard, I think we were still waiting to hear back whether or not it's been approved because there have been so many changes to the program, and so we've now signed up or signed on with the Power Authority, and all of those I guess hurdles have now been cleared.
Through you, Madam Chair, I would like to, if I could, direct it to Mr. Ramuno if he's available, because his staff are involved in the negotiation of the agreement.
Through you, Madam Chair, that's my understanding, but I will have to double back with staff just to confirm with respect to the timing of the installation.
Right. You know, as I said before, I'm a little hesitant to enter into a new process or agreement when we still have the last one sort of outstanding. I think Council approved it way back in 2011 or 12, and it's gone through a few different reiterations, so I would appreciate an update perhaps for next week. My second question through you to Mr. Simonovskis is, when we went through this the first time, Council was provided with a variety of options with regards to the SARC. We looked at doing it ourselves, we looked at contracting it out, doing a lease, and, you know, in all of those different options, then there was different business cases associated with in terms of what the net return would be and so forth, so Council then can make a decision on which way we wanted to pursue it. So, you know, and that was, if memory serves me correct, I mean, I think it was a significant cost to do that at the SARC. $1 million, $2 million, I can't remember off the top of my head. So when I see this one, and it seems that the cost is relatively low, the 130,000, I'm just wondering why we weren't presented with the various options like we were last time, and whether or not we wanted to do it ourselves or use Solera or vice versa. Is there a reason why we weren't given the variety of options along with the business case, the payback period, and so forth, so that Council can make that decision?
Mr. Simonovskis.
Certainly through you, Madam Chair. So in the report, and it may not be as complete as the councillor's requesting, but under the comments, we did investigate the options that were investigated in the previous program. The consultant reported that the FIT program, for one, isn't open to any new intakes. So the FIT or microfit program isn't actually available for us to apply to, so that's off the table. And the second comment was that the panels are, the cost of the panels are coming to the point that there isn't, for smaller fits like this size, there isn't a lot of interest in actually having lenders basically loan out the funds, or if they do, the return wouldn't be that favorable for us. So basically where we are with this smaller installation and the cost of the system, that this is actually the most, I guess, most economical approach. If council wishes, I could provide some additional information on that, but at the end of the day, with the changing market environment, this was the direction that was recommended to us as the most cost-effective for this size of an installation.
Great. Thank you. Through you to Mr. Simonovskis. So just so I completely understand it, really then we're just hiring them to install it. It's not a lease arrangement like the other one was.
Mr. Simonovskis.
Through you, Madam Chair, that is correct. It's basically an installation that we will fully own, and we will benefit 100% from any energy savings that we generate from the system.
Thank you. Any other questions I'll take offline.
Councillor Abel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And through you, the one at the SARC, they're leasing the roof as opposed to us owning it or whatever. Our payback is in the lease.
Through you, Madam Chair, that is correct. And I believe that's why that one has been a little more complicated to finalize, because they're essentially going to be partners with us for a 20-year period, whereas in this case, we purchase the system, it's installed, and we basically take it over. and operate ourselves. So there is no long-term arrangement with the vendor.
If I may, Madam Chair, I know it isn't exactly to this, but did the rate that we are getting, or they're getting, has it been going down? And is that part of the process at the SARC while we've been juggling to get things settled?
Mr. Simnovskis?
The negotiation with the SARC installation would probably be better directed to Mr. Marco.
Thank you.
You know what, I'll take back the question. It wasn't very clear, and I'll take it offline. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you. Mr. Simnovskis, I see on page 1 that our current panel vendor was consulted, and then on page 2, Solera was requested. So we haven't contacted anybody else to give us a price on this?
Through you, Madam Chair, no, we have not. We have basically worked with Solera for the projects both at Town Hall, the library, and the SARC, which is coming up. They provided us with some information. We did have our contractor or our consultant for the JOC, who is also part of the discussions, as well as our internal energy staff. So the conversations were around what's available on the market, as well as whether options might be available. The thought of going out and tendering this product was really based on, or the reason why we haven't proceeded with that is based on the fact that the market has become so competitive, so commoditized, that basically they're working on so many dollars per kilowatt, and it's a very competitive market, and basically right now it's basically a commodity. So that's why we proceeded with Solera. We have a relationship with them, and we know what their products are, and they're satisfactory to us, and that's the direction we are recommending.
Thank you, but they're not under contract to us for any additional work. We don't have an agreement that says if we do anything else that they will be our first choice.
No, they don't. No.
Thank you. For me, just for the optics of it, the alternative on page 4, issue a tender or RFP for securing a energy vendor. It's been discussed at the table before that we're always trying to do the best we can for the taxpayer, and we may be doing it with single source, but I think that we need to prove that we are trying to do that in all cases. So that would be my choice for this. If it passes tonight, I'll suggest it next week. The other thing is, I see that we're covering 15% of the garage bay roof. Is there any reason why we couldn't do more? Would it not be cost effective?
To you, Madam Chair, we looked at a number of different options, and this is probably the lowest coverage that we looked at. It's a coverage that provides us with a fairly reasonable return for the investment. We can go, and we did look at, I think, up to 80% coverage. It does become quite expensive. This is what was felt as this coverage is a reasonable investment, and it's going to result in a reasonable return without having to overextend both the Green Initiatives Reserve as well as overcover the roof where access becomes an issue. So it turns into almost like a model installation, something that can be there for demonstration as well as generating revenue.
Would we think about maybe extending it in the future, or this is the council's decision will be the decision for this building?
To you, Madam Chair, there's always room on the roof for additional installation if it becomes either a preference or the costs become more favorable. That's always an option.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. All those in favor? All those opposed? That carries. Thank you. Item number 6, I'll move. Sorry, I can't move that. Could somebody move that? Thank you. Councillor Maracus. Councillor Puri, thank you. Would anybody like to speak to it? Thank you. I'm just, Mr. Downey, just not clear. The date is, I must be missing something here, because the date in the motion is, we're talking about May 1st, 2013. And we're saying that the Music Fund is anticipated to launch in the fall of 2013. Could you clarify that for me, please?
Through you, Madam Chair, the dates are correct.
So then it was already launched in 2013, and
That's
this
correct.
money is carrying forward through the years?
That's correct. The fund is still operational, and we can still apply for the grant.
Thank you. So it's just the motion that is talking about anticipated to launch?
Through you, Madam Chair, that was the wording of the motion specifically. As you can see, it's a very old motion.
Okay, no comment on that. Anybody else? All those in favor? All those opposed? That carries. Well, I think maybe we're going to set a record tonight. Item 7, could somebody move that kindly? Thank you, Councillor Maracas. Councillor Puri, you want to carry on the tradition? Thank you. So this would be the Accessibility Advisory Committee. On page 2, item 5, and it carries through to item 6. So there has been a suggestion and a motion by the Accessibility Advisory Committee for James Lloyd Park accessibility considerations. So do we need to, through you, I guess me to Mr. Clerk, do we need to make a council motion that carries this motion forward?
To you, Madam Chair, no. These are recommendations to staff as part of the design of these parks. It is the normal procedure for the Accessibility Advisory Committee to provide comments, whether they be on park designs or other applications, to staff to be taken in consideration of the final design method.
Thank you. So follow-up. So these are to be considered by staff. We'll pass this. These will be considered by staff. But do they come back to the committee, or does staff just decide what they want to do with this?
To you, Madam Chair, the comments of the committee are taken into consideration in all final design applications. There is a requirement to. As you can imagine, if there's cost implications, eventually they would come back to council for consideration. But the committee's providing comments to the staff in the design work, so that when the final designs are going forward, those comments are taken into consideration and addressed.
Thank you. The reason why I'm raising this, is because this is a new park, and I think for the first time we're actually from the ground level putting in accessibility considerations, and so it's welcome. It's a welcome change. So will council be kept in the loop with this about how this will be developed? Because I think everybody around the table wants to see our parks as accessible as possible. Mr. Clerk?
To you, Madam Chair, I have no doubt that staff will keep you informed, especially on the design aspects of parks. It should be said that putting accessibility elements in a park is actually a requirement of the AODA and various regulations, and staff are well aware of that, and I'm sure we'll keep council informed.
Thank you very much. All those in favor? All those opposed? That carries. Thank you. Number 9 is the Economic Development Advisory Committee. Thank you. Motion to move, Councillor Thompson. Councillor Tom. Thank you. On page 3, actually, I'm sorry, it's page 4. Perhaps the chair of that committee. I'm interested in a medical campus and the number of buildings that we have vacant in the south end of town, Industrial South, Edward, Aurora. Just wondering if the chair could give a small update on that. What was discussed at the committee, what was decided, what's going forward. Thank you, Councillor Puri.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Really, we spoke about the Emery investment properties as being a key site where there's an opportunity to invest in marketing strategies around a medical campus. Ultimately, it will be up to the owners of that site to sell the properties how they seem fit, or as sell the properties as they see fit. But ultimately, that is a great location and a great zone. I don't know if Mr. Ramuno, who provided an update as well, would like to speak to that any further. I think it would probably be appropriate.
Thanks, Councillor Perry. Mr. Mino, do you have anything to add to that?
To you, Madam Chair, only that I've had discussions with the owner of the Emery Business Park, and they're
Yeah.
willing to have discussions with any future users. They have a program in place. They'll be servicing the site this year, and they have there are sufficient blocks there that are appropriately zoned, and will be serviced within a couple of years. So we will continue to have that discussion with them.
Thank you, and that is a huge business park. So then, Mr. Chair and members of the Economic Development Advisory Committee that are sitting on council, is there any discussion about what we're going to try and do with the south end of town and all those vacant properties and the vacant buildings that are there? And if not, could that be put on the agenda for strategy? Councillor Perry?
Just wondering if you could define the vacant buildings and the vacant areas.
Well, coming from the south end of town, driving on Aurora Edward Industrial Parkway South, there's buildings there that have been vacant and are not being rented. I'm not sure if they're for sold. There's one for sold sign there that's caved over. It's been there for so long. But, so just maybe a drive when you're in that end of town, just coming from where the McDonald's is and driving up through to the town hall, it's really looking pretty sad.
So to that, I would say that our staff are actively engaged in investment attraction, wherever the possibility comes around. And we're also moving forward on a business ambassadors program.
Yes.
Again, to help bring new businesses to town.
Thank you. I saw that. That's great. Thank you very much. All those in favor? All those opposed? That carries. I think we're at, we're new. Could you please make a good record of this? We're at new business. So starting with Councillor Maracas. Councillor Maracas, any new Mayor Daw? Councillor Thompson?
I haven't had time to think, no.
Councillor Abel? Oh, sorry, Councillor Thompson.
I just want to take this opportunity to remind everybody about the Run for South Lake on Sunday, May 1st. Please, if you haven't already, sign up. There is a Team Aurora, and we would love to have you join our team as well.
Councillor Abel?
On that note, another town initiative is the spring cleanup. That's occurring on April 23rd, and I know there are parties and people getting interested. It's always a good day. A barbecue afterward at Town Park.
Great, thank you. Councillor Humphreys?
Just a reminder, this Saturday at 1 o'clock, Big Brothers Big Sisters. I'm sorry, we just got through the technical glitches for putting our team in, so please, I hope you're all going to be there. I need 5 players at 1 o'clock in the Newmarket Stellar Lanes for Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Thank you.
I'll be calling you.
Councillor Tom? Councillor Perry?
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you know, because you were there, the Aurora Arboretum took place. Their AGM was last night. Councillor Abel and myself were out handing out the Volunteer Service Recognition Awards. So I'd just like to congratulate everyone who has served our community. And, as was stated, volunteers are truly at the heart of our community, and we really do truly appreciate all the work that they do because they help to make Aurora great.
Thank you very much. I had some feedback from the awards, but we're just starting to do those awards. Maybe afterwards, when we finish the process, we can look at the process and see if it needs any tweaking. Mr. Downey, I'm not sure if this is true. Is there something called the Big BAM going on at the leisure complex this weekend, or was it last weekend? Okay. Okay, I read it somewhere. It's called, Mr. Mayor, do you know anything about that? It's being held by Youth Speak. It's called the Big BAM. It's a fundraiser, a charitable fundraiser, actually, and it's to address issues of mental illness, bullying, and addiction. And it said, the information I saw said Saturday, April 6th. So I'm going to just consider that it's Saturday and not April 6th. I don't know if anybody else is getting any feedback about the speed cushions, the speed bumps, so but you know, there are residents coming out of the woodwork, it seems to me, about Henderson. And Henderson isn't a street that we considered, and actually, people I don't think actually back or front, well, they back onto Henderson, but they don't front onto Henderson. But the concerns that I've had, and I've had 3 in the last week, is that people cannot get out from the side streets during the rush hours. And I tried it, and you know what? It's true. It's really hard. You really have to push the gas down in order to get out. So, and there's actually, I guess it would be Mr. Simonovskis, there is this strange light on Henderson that I think is activated by pedestrians if they want to cross the street, but it's not activated. It really doesn't exist for cars. So what would be the best way to look at Henderson and see if there's anything? It's a straightaway. The cars are going fast, and we have a lot of streets, north-south streets, coming off Henderson. Do you have anything to suggest?
To you, Madam Chair, as we are in the process of doing the surveys for the sites that have been identified by council, my suggestion would be that a motion to include this street as well, and then we will also look at surveying that section as well.
Thank you. Could I do that? You want to do that? So, Councillor Abel.
There are other streets, like the Valhalla area on Old Young is very keen on seeing this move forward. So the intent of the notice of motion was a trial basis, of course, on a few spots to see how it would run, and then expand it if that would be the case. If not, so just to take Henderson, which I agree is one that's been brought to our attention. I think, Mr. Simonovskis, you provided us a list of some 15 or 20 streets, I think, originally back in the day. So there's not just the one street. That's my only point, Madam Chair, at this stage.
Thank you, Council. Thank you, Councillor Humphreys.
Through you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I'm having some real concerns about the whole traffic thing in general, in terms of, you know, some initiatives that we took sort of ownership of from a, I guess just from a campaigning perspective, and then residents' concerns, and there is a warrant program, and I actually asked today Mr. Zanaskis to provide me with the warrant program, because I feel this is really getting out of control, and I know that we don't really, maybe there's not enough interest around the table for a traffic advisory committee, but I think I need to just do what I need to do, and we can vote on it, because I'm very, very concerned. I think there needs to be focus overall on our town. The growth is unbelievable, and there's, I believe, an advisory committee can put the focus on there that we need. So, you know, we think it's busy, we don't think it's busy. I mean, there's a criteria, and I believe that criteria is something we need to live by. If it doesn't go forward, we tell the residents this is why, and then they can come to council at that point and argue their point, and we can make the decision. So I really feel that I've been whining about it for a year now, so I'll just put a motion forward on the next committee meeting and see if there's enough will around the table.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I think one of the reasons this committee didn't go forward is because it's really a hard committee. So we all may have to take turns.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you. Hold on, I need to check my notes. Are we done? Is it a motion to?
This is a record.
Okay. Councillor Peary, my apology.
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure that when we're talking about the speed humps and speed cushions, we're all talking about the same thing, because there was a notice of motion to investigate putting them up. We're currently out soliciting for information. I just wanted to clarify that we're just in an information gathering stage right now. We're not building anything, and there's still going to be a report that comes back to us. Is that correct?
Through you, Madam Chair, that is correct.
So in terms of process, I think that's completely appropriate and what we should be doing. So that's it.
Thank you, Councillor Perry. Councillor Abel?
I would just note that, that we're not rushing into anything because this was December 2014, this notice of motion, and we haven't even got to the initial stage. It's taken us a year and 4 months to get to this stage, so I don't see us doing anything rash. It was really just a pilot project. I know it's not a great word, to try in a couple of neighborhoods to see if it was effective and report back after a year is how the notice of motion read. You know, this could have all been done and ready for analyzing, but we're not nearly at that stage. The way we've done our survey, we've expanded it into all kinds of neighborhoods, and so there's a lot of misconceptions. I mean, most of them all start, well, they impede emergency vehicles, and the way they're set up, they don't impede. So like, there's just, it's maybe, I think there's some merit into Councillor Humphrey's way of doing it, because all it is setting up for a lot of misunderstanding. From my point of view, it's taken a long time to get us to a very confusing state. Could we do it better? Well, I'm game.
Thank you, and I think it really is something that needs serious attention. Thank you, Councillor Humphreys. I look forward to that motion. Okay, folks, it looks like we're ready to do a motion to adjourn. Is that true? Yes, we are. Councillor Abel, Councillor Tom, all those in favor?
Okay, we need, what date is it?
Oh, sorry, all those opposed. It carries.
We're not going home.
It still carries. Okay, it's 7, it is